Hi there, everyone. It is currently the 1st of July 2015. Meteorologist Robert Spetta here with you today, and we have a lot to go over. Of course, the main topic here in the Western Pacific here today is Tropical Storm Chanhom. If you are watching this in several days after I made the update, which sometimes happens, this may very well be Typhoon Chanhom, and it actually will be passing over Guam and possibly heading towards Japan by mid next week. But let's talk about the storm system and what exactly is happening out here at this time on the 1st of July. Well, as this does continue to track off here towards the west, it's actually gaining some organization around that center of circulation, and it's pretty easy to tell exactly where our storm system is here. Lots of outflow coming in from the north. We have a moderate amount of vertical wind shear, and that typically would cause a storm to weaken, but not the case this time. Why? Because we have an abundance of inflow coming down here from the south. It's all part of the monsoonal trough, extending all the way over from the Philippines. Actually, what we have been seeing is just this moisture flow impacting the Philippines the last several days, actually the past week now, and that's been causing some flooding out here in parts of Visayas, specifically around Cebu. Well, all that moisture is rushing off here towards the east, and it is fueling our storm system here as it does continue to develop. So let's take a little bit closer look here on the visible satellite imagery, and we have some convection even flaring up here in the last several images before it kind of gets cut up here. But what you can really see is that circulation continuing to rotate. We also have our infrared imagery, really just shows you exactly what I just seen a second ago. But let's talk about the intensity of this right now. This is based on Dvorak. Winds right now, 40, gusting to 60 knots. Pressure at 996 hectopascals. Now remember, the lower the pressure in a storm system, the stronger it is. In the tropics, this time of year, you typically need it down to about 970 hectopascals for it to be considered a typhoon. And it does look like we are on that path as far as the forecast is concerned, especially with the intensity here. I would not be surprised at all if this makes it to a typhoon by the weekend. So let's talk about, well, the forecast here with our storm system, and a few things going on actually out here in the tropics. First off, we have our monsoonal trough I already mentioned about. We have our storm system here. We have another Invest. This is Invest 94W back towards the west. We have another one. This is 97. This is an LPA just off the coast of the Philippines. Big thing with this, it's surging in that moisture across the Philippines, so that's going to cause that threat of flooding. But as far as our storm system is concerned, this is going to absorb this one, cannibalize it, if you will. And as it sucks in the energy from this, it's going to allow it to intensify. Not only the center intensity, but I think the bigger issue with this, it is going to be a massive storm system. So if you are here in Guam, you definitely want to be getting ready for this storm system now. Those typhoon kits, batteries, water, gasoline, things like that. You want to get it together, because even though if this storm system does not make a direct landfall, I still think you're going to be seeing at least tropical storm strength winds. So better safe than sorry out here. So that's what's going to be happening as it approaches the islands here in the Marianas. This is the forecast. Heading just off the eastern seaboards, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency, as a typhoon by Saturday morning. Very similar situation and forecast from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, actually pushing right over Guam. Saturday is the 4th of July. This is a colony of the U.S., or at least a territory, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be out here wanting to celebrate Independence Day. Best bet is to wait for this storm system to pass, guys. Yeah, you don't want to be heading out in a weather like this. This is actually forecasting winds up and over 70 knots, sustained. That's enough to really blow some things around, and definitely light objects, anything outdoors not tied down, definitely blow around in weather like this. So, yeah, this is something we're going to watch as we go ahead over the next several days. If you are out here, and to Thursday and Friday, winds are going to continue to pick up and really get by their worst Friday overnight into early Saturday morning, and then by Saturday afternoon, this is just pushing directly overhead, bringing some pretty nasty weather out here. All depends on exactly how it tracks, so we still got about 4 or 5 days to really keep a very close eye on this, but it could waver north or south. I think it's going to pass just north of Guam, my thoughts, based on where it is right now. It's kind of tracking on a west-northwesterly trend, and if that happens, it should just be north, and that means that, well, we're going to be seeing Guam with typhoon-strength winds, Rota, and possibly even Saipan, and all those areas, you just want to be ready for something like this. What else are we talking about here? So let's take a look at the long range. This is another big thing. If you're in the southern Japanese islands, you might be wanting to watch this because through next week, there is the possibility of this tracking around an area of high pressure towards the east, then tracking off here towards northwest, possibly impacting somewhere in the southern Japanese islands or over towards Kyushu. It all depends on how our Westpac Eye really interacts with this. And let's even go back to the Meteor Earth app here, and I'll just show you one more time what exactly I'm talking about. See this whole area of clear weather over here? That's our area of high pressure. I'll even put up the pressure up on the screen here. So we have our storm, we have our high pressure area. If this recedes enough and the rainy season front kind of pushes down farther towards the south, we're talking about this kind of recurving a little bit earlier than what we are seeing right now in some of the models, which actually brings it over there towards Okinawa or the Amami Islands. If this builds in, it would be more of a westerly track. I can't say at this point which way is exactly going to happen because we're talking about in this type of forecast a week from now. A long range. What I do know is that somewhere here in the southern islands, I think Kyushu could be impacted by this storm system with typhoon conditions. Definitely want to watch this very closely, not just for people living there. I actually want to get ahead of this storm and try to film it, so I'll keep you guys updated as soon as we get a more detailed forecast on exactly what's going to be happening with it. For now, keep updated. If you are not in Guam, if you're in Japan, you still have plenty of time. Also, that monsoonal inflow I was talking about, I think there's going to be a flood threat here in the Philippines. This is something to watch out for. It's that hanging hagapat. I believe that's how I say it. It's an enhanced monsoon. Causes flooding. It's not so much the short time heavy rain, but the persistent rainfall that sometimes occurs, and that's always an issue out here. Alright guys, that's all for now here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, post them down there in the comment box below. I know in the extended range I'm not being very detailed. It's because there's still a lot of time to watch this. And when you have a lot of time to watch it, we're talking about hypothetical situations, and that's what I'm talking about running around this Westpac High over here towards the west. We know we have long-range models. Check out our Facebook page. I have been sharing some of that information there as well as far as the long-range models. A big thing right now, it is wavering. So unless you're in Guam, you definitely still want to be watching it, but if you are in Guam or Saipan, now's the time really to be ready for that threat of a typhoon. Typhoon watches and warnings going to be in place soon, guys, so don't be caught off guard. As always, thanks for watching.